Welcome to the 7th annual CCSU Stanley Black & Decker Business Plan Competition. Really excited tonight to have 9 teams competing. They have a wide variety of development at this point between class projects and people who are already making money. So I think it'll be a really interesting show. The way the program will work is that the presenters will have 3 minutes to present, and then there'll be 3 minutes of questions from our shark panel. And let me introduce them now. I'll start from my left to going to my right. Ralph Mesite. Ralph Mesite is a restaurateur. He's been a serial entrepreneur. He owns Sonic CT and White Linen Restaurant and has had a history of starting businesses and being successful there. Next to him is Mark Nemeth. Mark is the president, CEO, primary owner of Xena Laboratories. He says that it's a fancy bakery for the aerospace industry or something like that. They make parts primarily for the aerospace industry. A very successful family business. Next to him is PJ Carrillo. PJ is an alum of CCSU and an employee at Stanley Black & Decker, our sponsor, and so he's representing, and I just wanted to, again, say how much we appreciate Stanley's continuing support for this. It makes a world of difference that we can do this every year. Next to him is Ira Yellen. Ira has run a marketing firm for quite a while here, and in the last few years he's had a firm that helps people find services so that the elderly can stay at home and you're still doing that, yes? Aging in place. And Ira has been a great friend to the program, coming and judging and mentoring students here, and so thank you again for coming, Ira. So we have a great bunch of experience here with people who are entrepreneurs primarily. And they will be asking questions after the presentations are made, and then later they'll go judge. So I think without further ado, let's have the first team come up, and the first team is Locavore. I'll let you turn it on.
Ready? So are we ready? Good evening, everyone. I am Brennan Tima.
And I'm Catherine Rabucci, and we are the founders of Locavore, the Farmers Market Companion app. There are 4 times as many farmers markets today as there were 2 decades ago, and the demand for local products is at an all-time high. The problem is, in our digital age, consumers still do not know what products are available or where to find them.
So we came up with Locavore, a mobile app currently in development thanks to $30,000 funding received through South by Southwest. Our app provides real-time product availability via a searchable database of markets, vendors, and products. Since our concept is unique, we are looking to patent our process. Although there are current services that provide some of this information, such as PickYourOwn.com and Farmers Web, none provide a complete solution to the problem like this.
With over half of small farms making less than $5,000 a year, we are not charging them to use our service. We're providing them with the ability to reach more customers and increase their sales. In turn, farms promote us through their network, helping us build our subscriber base. In addition, we are marketing through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, using regionally promoted posts.
Our app is a subscription-based service priced at $2 a month or $20 a year. Initially, we are targeting 1% of households in Connecticut. This would make our annual gross revenue over $250,000.
Being a for-profit business, this allows us to give back to multiple community groups without having to seek significant outside funding. We are establishing within 2 groups and will continue to expand as we grow.
With me being a veteran, we are looking to partner with the Farmer Veteran Coalition, who provides resources and assistance to veterans who farm. We are starting a fund to be utilized by the FVC to assist new veteran farmers with startup costs. In addition, we will display the Homegrown by Heroes logo on each veteran farmer's profile page, allowing customers to support local farming veterans.
The Farmers Market Nutrition Program offers vouchers to seniors and WIC recipients, allowing them to purchase produce at local markets. Currently, certain markets match the value of these vouchers, allowing clients to increase their buying power. We have reached out to the state to offer free subscriptions for clients to access our app, and will provide the locations that participate in these programs.
2 months ago, Locavore began at the New Venture Challenge course. We realized our shared passion for agriculture and local products. Through my experience in technology and business, and Catherine's experience with markets and organic farming, our team is uniquely positioned to serve this community.
We have secured 85% of the $38,700 needed to launch. We still need $4,700 for app maintenance, technology, advertising, and miscellaneous costs. Join Locavore in creating a local food revolution.
And here's a look of how our app is functioning as of today. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Assuming things go along as you planned, you're not really going to be hiring more people. You're going to be able to handle it yourselves. Is that correct?
As of right now, we are managing it ourselves, but as we grow, currently we're looking at 1% of Connecticut, but we are looking for further expansion throughout New England and possibly the Northeast. And as we start to grow, we're using a CRM software to determine if and when we do need additional employees to help manage it.
Okay. As you're looking for funding, have you talked to the DECD at the state?
So we've reached out to Jamie, who is the head person for the CT Agriculture, and we're still waiting to hear back. But we are connected with the Stonington Farmers Market and a few local farms who have also said they'd reach out to help support us.
But you haven't gone to DECD?
No, we have not, sir.
Okay.
Have you explored some of the ones similar to what you're doing, like New Haven Farm? And there's another one down in Meriden that's doing agroponics and stuff, very close to what you're doing, where they've already have done and reached out to some of the market. In other words, in your research, did you see some of the ones who might not be exactly what you're doing, but are doing it pretty well and have raised some monies to do it, or they're part of a network that exists already? I just want to know how much research you actually have done to actually get to your consumer, or is it all going to be through third party?
So there's multiple ways that we're reaching out to the consumers. The main way is through farmers and through other vendors. We're not just looking at farms. Farm is our primary target, but we're also looking at other local producers. And by we're looking at them to help us promote us, but because they're going to be at all the markets that we will be using, because we're also reaching out to the farmers markets. So the farmers markets are using us to showcase what vendors will be available, which in turn will then the vendors will showcase what products will be available.
So you're kind of a social enterprise a little bit?
Yes.
Or so you want to become a nonprofit?
Eventually, that is.
We're
so
looking
you
at a few different ways.
potential.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So our next contestant will be hot over cold. So if hot over cold team wants to come down. Does that work okay?
We're ready when you guys are. Good to go? Cool. What's up, everybody? My name is Zach, and this is my partner, Sal, and we are Hot Over Cold. We're a cafe and creamery food truck that sells coffee and ice cream. Our mission statement, we want to provide high-quality coffee and ice cream at a competitive price, fastly and happily. So when you're on the commute or when you're out with your family, you get it. We're going to do this by bringing our cafe and creamery to you where you want it most. We're going to have a high quality product that's going to ensure a consistency, so people are going to get the brand recognition that they want. They'll always be satisfied. We're going to be competitively priced, and we'll be the smart and tasty option for everybody. Here's an example of the first version of what our menu is. As you can see, hot up top, our coffee. We will do iced and hot. Below it, we have the ice cream section.
And we want to target working professionals who drink coffee every day. Mostly in the downtown New Haven and Hartford area. And we also want to participate in events, and families who attend special events are looking for a place to purchase coffee and ice cream. So there's a lot of food trucks who provide coffee, and there's a lot that provide ice cream, but there's none that do it together like us, and like hot and cold. And just want to say, like, we're gonna use our main advertisement is the word of mouth, just to get the word out. But we also use social media like Facebook and Instagram, try to promote us. And we also want to do kind of like what Dunkin' does, like the reward program. I know Starbucks has it, where every time you make a purchase for hot over cold, you're gonna get points, and with the points, you can get free products and make customers keep coming back to us. So.
A little bit about us. We met in entrepreneurship class at Central a couple years ago. We became friends immediately. We realized we both have experience in coffee and ice cream. I managed a Ben & Jerry's in South Windsor for 3 years. Sal's worked at Dunkin' for 8 years. So basically, we know what we're talking about when it comes to these things, and we're kind of trying to bring it all together. Quick look at our cash flow. If we can start with $20,000, basically by the end of the first year, we'll be cash solvent is the main point here. 5-year projection, if our numbers are where they should be, we'll be profitable by year 3. Currently, we have hotovercold.com. It's a fully operational website. If we have time, I would love to show you at the end. Feel free to ask questions about it. We're looking for a Sprinter van to renovate. We're going to do all the work ourselves because we're mechanically inclined. It'll keep costs down. We're working on our supply chain, and we're trying to get some financing to get this thing going.
We're actually seeking capital to go towards purchasing 2 trucks, one for New Haven area and one for the Hartford area, and be supplemental to our open lines of credit.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Have you tested your product out in the market to see if they like it or not?
So we don't have a truck yet. So
Do
we're relying.
you need a truck to test the end use of the product right now?
We haven't come that far along yet, but that would be one of the next steps. But we're mostly relying on the fact that 64% of Americans drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day. There's 500. Let me see here. There's hundreds of thousands of people in the Hartford and New Haven market who fall into that category, who are working professionals and who drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day.
Just suggesting your differentiation should be a little clearer.
Okay.
About, there's many coffee places, and maybe they're not in the truck, but you surely go into, as you probably know, Starbucks and get whatever heck you want there. And so getting out to do it is, not saying it's a bad idea, just you have the differentiation seems to be your product.
The segment we're going after is gourmet coffee, and it's the biggest coffee segment amongst millennials, which we think would be our main market.
Thank you.
So you guys have a website. Do you plan on deploying an app so people could locate you easier than opening up the website on their mobile?
Yeah, absolutely. The app would be one of the next steps. I'm going to scroll through slowly as I answer this, but Sal was talking about our reward program that we hope to have. So it would be similar to Dunkin', like you said, where it'd be a stamp card. So every time you get a purchase, you get a stamp. We don't know the specifics yet, but it would be something like every 10 purchases, you get a free coffee, things along that line. But yeah, an app is essential, and what we want to do with it is be able to track the truck, so you can open the app and see exactly where we are. So when you're working, you don't have to come and see, okay, I hope they're here, I hope they're there, things like that.
Were you done? Yeah. So you start, you have a truck, you have one in Hartford, one in New Haven, and you put it on a corner where you get good traffic. So all of a sudden you get some people liking it and looking to come back. You have a mechanical truck, it craps out. You can't get the truck fixed for 10 days. Your customers go away. So all I'm suggesting is I hope you plan for more have capital than you need and have redundancy, because once you hook a customer, you don't want to lose them. And I see this, you're trying to hit 2 markets at one time. You may want to look at 1 market to go forward instead of 2
Absolutely. So one thing we were considering was also catering. We want to do the special events. For things like that, we would use a trailer. So that would kind of negate the mechanical issues a little bit. So, if our truck breaks down, we could just get another vehicle to tow the trailer. And that would be for the catering segment, as opposed to the city every day.
You guys plan on putting an affogato on the menu?
I'm not familiar with affogato, but I would love to
yeah,
hear
that's
about
good
it.
stuff. The
Is it?
espresso and the ice cream. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
see why not, right?
That's our signature item. It's the
That
hot
should
over
be.
cold. I didn't know it was called affogato, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Just one question. Is coffee going to be your own roast, or are you going to be buying like beans separately from certain vendors?
We want to get high quality beans from vendors. Eventually, once we have enough brand recognition, we would totally want to make our own, but right off the bat, we're going to import a high quality product.
And what about in the winter with the ice cream? What's your plan?
So it definitely is a seasonal thing, but the coffee is really our main hook here. So the ice cream is kind of supplemental for the catering and for like to bring families in. But I mean, when I worked at Ben & Jerry's, we definitely still did business in the winter. And so,
Yeah, definitely. Like, we'll still continue to sell ice cream in the winter, just not as much. Like in the summertime, when like it gets busier, we'll have like special flavor of the month, But during the wintertime, we'll probably stick to just like basic flavors like chocolate, vanilla, pistachio. But,
I got one last question. I don't understand this, but I would assume people that are already competing with what you potentially do you know how they get a spot on the street? Do they have to get there early? Is there little things happening in the world that are somewhat dirty that you have to know about, or is this?
Well, we're not trying to get our hands dirty too much, but it all comes down to permits and licensing and stuff like that.
Okay.
That is something that we need to look into more, but it's definitely possible because there's like the food truck market in New Haven and Hartford, it's absolutely booming. We've seen it ourselves. So
Okay,
we'll
thank you.
do our best to get there. Thanks, guys.
And the next team is food waste conversion, kind of the other end of the value stream.
All right, we good to go? Good. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Nick. I'll be talking about my food waste conversion company. Currently, we're in the research and development stages. We're looking for a partner to start scaling up. So a little bit about me. I'll be turning 21 next week. I'll be graduating early in the winter time. I've had multiple years in various industries. Started off working in the mining industry where I learned about leaf composting as well as material handling. I also have restaurant experience, so I've seen the food waste created both on the back end from the kitchen as well as customer waste. And then I've also worked for waste management as an intern, so I've seen the waste industry side on the back end, the issues they're facing as well as how they make money. So the issue I'm trying to tackle with my company is food waste. Connecticut produces about 322,000 tons of it. If you see here from the graph, we only have a small capacity to recycle that material. So this is putting constraints on both landfills as well as environmental issues between methane gas as well as contamination, disease spreading in the water and land. So my solution, the company that I'm starting, is using black soldier fly larvae, which grow incredibly quick and also consume all kinds of organic matter that humans create, ranging from meat, fish, grain, dairy, vegetables, even manure if it has to, and it takes this food waste and converts it into a valuable nutrient-rich biomass, high in proteins, fats, minerals, and vitamins, and then a waste of vermicompost, which is even more valuable than compost itself. How this is done: food waste is gathered from various streams, restaurants, grocery stores, distribution centers. It goes through the separating machine, which pulls out any inorganic contaminants in case they fall in. From there, it gets mashed up in the machine as well. The larvae are introduced, which then consume the material in about 14 days or so. They're screened, washed, and dried, and then processed into a meal. And then the compost is screened and sold as fertilizer. So this company is, my main focus of the company is using shipping containers for easy scalability. These shipping containers fully equipped will have a return on investment in about 2 months or so. once the main center part of the business is up and running. So in the front end, we'll be serving the waste industry, pulling food waste out of the waste stream, as well as serving as a dumping ground for waste services. And then agriculturally, as I said before, compost will be going to farms, gardens, as well as other fertilizing needs. And then the meal will be used for fish, poultry, and other food sources. Major competition, we have Quantum Biopower in Southington, which uses anaerobic digestion, so large upfront costs and maintenance. And Viroflight, which is based in Kentucky and Ohio, who use black soldier fly larvae as well. Income statement, which I can discuss further if need be, but who wants to take a bite out of this situation?
What's the investment you're looking for? How much is it going to cost to get into this business? It seems like a high barrier to entry.
Right now, I'm looking for a partner to start scaling up a little bit. I'm looking at Dunning Sand and Gravel, which I've worked for, Supreme Industries, as well as Winston-Berry Farms, which Winston-Berry Farms, which all have composting currently, but due to the smell, they're unable to do organic waste, so they focus more on leaf and that kind of bioorganics rather than food itself.
So I'm looking for a number. I mean, what's it going to take for you to get into business?
I haven't done all the numbers out because currently we're trying to just find a location quite yet between cities. Thinking maybe somewhere in Granby. From there is just the construction costs. So probably 300,000, 400,000, including land and processing land and everything.
And how big of an area would that facility serve? Like Massachusetts, Connecticut, or beyond, like New York City?
It depends. That's why I went with a shipping container model, because not only will it be, you could do it terrestrial, so on land, but in the future down the line, doing it on barges, because everything will be indoors and contained. All the fumes will be filtered, no one will smell it. It can be done on barges, so you can stop at, say, New York City Harbor, pull in the waste, go offshore, process it, and then when you come back to shore, whether it's in New York or down south, you can distribute the fertilizer, compost, as well as a meal for fish farms and such.
What are you doing now? What are the company, places deal with a lot of this kind of waste, restaurants, and even supermarkets, stuff like that. What do they do? They go to landfill? Is that
Currently, it just gets thrown out. It just goes straight to a landfill. There's, besides the Quantum Biopower in Southington, there's very few farms. I think there's like 1 or 2 in Connecticut that can actually take in the waste and compost it, because a lot of towns don't want the smell, because once it goes anaerobic, it smells a lot due to the methane as well as other gases being released.
I'm trying to understand who you partner with, because it seems like a big capital expense.
Well, it's just
to put together all the machines we're outlining there to get it down to the compost level.
Yeah, so currently we're in just starting the colony up, make sure we're mastering down the mating and breeding, the rearing of the eggs itself. From there, then it's a little bigger, because I need to take this out of my bedroom. I can't smell the whole house once they start getting larger. So it would just be a simple shipping container filled with trays, and we'll be doing rotation cycles through it, just so we can get the cycle timing down right, as well as start decomposition.
The whole process is organic?
Yeah. So
how long does it take to get into compost?
14 days. Food waste, it has to be a certain amount of food waste going in, and in 14 days it comes out as compost and larvae. So a container, one shipping container, 350 tons a year, about 29,000 pounds every 2 weeks for one container.
So you throw the stuff in a shipping container, and that happens, the shipping container stays there for 2 weeks, and then it turns into compost. So it's not like a flow, it's just a discrete shipping container.
Well, no, it's trays, which are fed, the larvae are in the trays. You feed the larvae certain time periods, I believe it's 1, 5, and 8. One day, first day, day 5 and day 8. So it's a rotational, which is why I need to get the cycle timing down right, so it continuously the waste continuously being off the ground, so it's not continuously being on the ground.
I still don't understand. So you have this in a shipping container, and the process takes 14 days.
Yeah.
So you load the shipping container, and then you don't touch that for 14 days, or you have to still do stuff to it? 14?
Well, day 1 you feed them and you introduce larvae. Day 5 you refeed them, and then day 8 you refeed them again, and then they finish up day 14.
And then you can do with
Then
the
you
process
restart
again.
Yeah.
You showed an income statement and you flashed through, but no, I don't need to see that at all. But it's just what's more important when you're starting off a business is a cash flow statement and starting with what you need and where it goes along the period of time. Because someone looking at investment, they look at cash. And obviously
I have a cash flow. I just didn't want to bombard because there's various income streams as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
And the next contestant will be Wiseworks Guitars. So come on down.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. Judges, thank you for letting me berate you and beg you to give me money for 6 minutes. Doc, whenever you're ready. Oh, I'm already going? Cool. All right. My name is Austin Sapienti. I am the owner of Wiseworks Guitars, and I'd like to talk to you today about my initiative in order to create the last electric guitar that any guitar player will ever need to buy. Now, my company's vision or mission statement is that I will never let the music die. And I really do mean that. I'm very passionate about the electric guitar and about the community here in Connecticut, as well as the music community throughout the United States. The vision statement is basically just, I'm going to make the best damn guitar you've ever seen in your entire life. To elaborate more on my product, what we're going to specialize in is 6 to 8 string electric guitars, as well as 4 to 6 string electric bass models. With customized designs like the one you see up on the screen is going to be our in-house specialty. It's called the Droplet, as well as legacy designs that are based off of popular guitars such as the Les Paul, the Fender Strat, and the Telecaster. And they're going to be entirely customizable by the user through our counselor selling process and eventually an online building application we have ingratiated into our website. And most importantly, we're going to sell them at or below competition prices in order to keep it competitive within the marketplace. As far as phase 2 of our operation goes, I'm going to be introducing to the market the world's first entirely made in America modular electric guitar design. Now, I know that's a mouthful to hear. It'll be called the Wise Guys because it's more than it seems. The center of the guitar is removable, allowing for endless customization for how it plays, how many strings it has, and how the guitar looks. This means that when a customer buys one guitar, ends up getting sick of it, they can buy another one from us. Say they don't like the look of it, they'll buy more attachments. This keeps revenue coming long after the guitar's been sold. And this is planning on launching with, of course, your guys' support, mid-2021 to early 2022. The market that we're going after is between 16 and 45. We find that 16-year-olds are just starting to get serious about playing. They become professional musicians at this age, while older players start experiencing difficulty in their hands around this age. And specifically, we're going after younger players who are looking to get the most bang for their buck, older players who want something different, collectors, and studio owners. The modular design will allow studio owners to save money when producing records. Upfront costs, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but if I needed to launch this today, including the modular design, bypassing most of our phases, it'd be around $31,000. With that initial investment, if we were to create 35 guitars and sell them off the bat, we would break even, not including any fixed costs such as rent or depreciation. That'll be closer to 52 over a longer scale, about 1.5 years. So stage 1 will be beginning on January 1st, 2020, which we will enter the market. Stage 2, we will bring the modular guitar to market, estimated for mid-2021. Stage 3 will be introducing collector's editions and beginning national distribution. Stage 4, selling all over the world. And income statement, we're going to be breaking even about a year and a half into it. Statement of cash flows, I'm out of time. Gentlemen?
I noticed something there. It said patents. You're going to go for patents?
Yeah, in order to create a more competitive market, what I'm hoping to do is file a patent with the modular design in mind. That'll give me sort of sole proprietorship in that kind of area.
Just some information. I don't know how expensive it's going to be to get the patent, but having a patent is one thing. Defending it is another.
You're absolutely right.
You should. I hope you've done some research on that because it could be very expensive.
I actually have, believe it or not. There are similar products in the marketplace, but nothing to this scale. You know, there are things that allow you to change a neck on a guitar, but they don't allow you to switch from a bass guitar to an electric guitar, then to a different electric guitar and back. It could be made a case for it, but the design of it will be totally different.
Your one-page summary said the really famous brands are going bankruptcy or doing it, like Gibson and Fender, which are, you know, branding as well as everything, doing this. So you're going in a market that's getting depressed and depleted. So are you looking then for differentiate from a commodity product to a high-value, expensive product that's more towards a niche market? Or are you looking for a volume? If you're going, those two brands are in bankruptcy, or they're, you know, it would seem it would be hard for the competition unless you can differentiate. If they're not selling, wouldn't that be a concern to you?
Not necessarily. I do appreciate the question, though. What we've actually seen is after Gibson exited bankruptcy last year, they've actually reported a growth in the guitar sector of about 3.5%. Looking into 2021, I believe is the figure they gave. So I'm optimistic about the future of it. Now, having said that, something I didn't have time to go over during the presentation was at stage 4, we're actually planning on acquiring a budget guitar manufacturer in order to broaden our market. Right now, we're going after the mid to high end simply because those are the people that are buying most often. I've been involved with the guitar scene in Connecticut and in the United States for close to 4 years. And I know more often than anybody that an entry-level guitar takes much longer to sell than something that's truly special and more costly.
What would be the cost of your modular guitar? If I came in and said, yeah, that's great, what would I be paying?
Out the door for the base level with not a lot of add-ons, probably somewhere around $1,000 to $1,100 range. For the solid body electrics that we're planning on launching with, we're looking at about an $899 start point. So, you know, sub 1,000.
Have you developed a prototype, something?
I brought the first prototype of the body over there. It's for the droplet design that you saw up on screen. I'd be more than happy to show it to you if we have some time later. Gentlemen, anything else? Thank you for your time.
And next up is Pickup Sticks Specialty Landscaping.
Good to start. All right, hi everyone. So my name is Benjamin Gross, and I'm the owner of Pickup Sticks Specialty Landscaping LLC, which is a startup venture located right in West Hartford, Connecticut. So basically, opportunities: you have a lot of homes, a lot of money potentially. You're looking at about 895,000 residents in Hartford County, average $69,000 income. Looks pretty good to me. Service solution for my business. So this kind of goes into our broad differentiator as a company. It's a more personalized service experience. So I have worked for a couple larger landscape companies before, and there was less emphasis on, you know, individual customers. It was kind of like, okay, we're going to get to the next lawn. You know, we're going to keep moving on through the day. And I found in kind of my own side business, which I had started in early days of high school about 7 years ago, that if you listen to the customer, you know, you were almost a housekeeper without the house, you know, because you were working on the outside of the property, that they took a liking to it and that you could find a lot of work. And so basically, opportunity market, currently, you know, I've kind of started to approach the commercial market, but primarily for me, it's all residential. Homeowners, half-acre size or less primarily. And so what I'm looking to do is to obviously expand to businesses, small businesses who need lawn mowing, other types of maintenance, and then contractors, you know, subcontracting type work, because some of the work I do is stuff larger contractors can't find the time to do. So current equipment I have invested in, for example, you have a zero-turn mower, chipper, vacuum. The main reason for some of that equipment is it allows me to do my job a little more efficiently, and it's also good for the environment in the sense that I can start to recycle. And ultimately the goal is to try for me to buy my own land, and I can start recycling, creating mulch, byproducts of that sort, and you know, deliver them to customers. This is some of the smaller equipment I currently have invested in. A lot of it is much older. I do myself. I'm mechanically inclined. I had an internship with repairing larger agricultural equipment, so I kind of do most work on my own to save on costs. Competition, a lot of different businesses out there, obviously.
but our primary differentiator is concentrated specialized service. Sales and marketing, pretty much a lot of it's word of mouth. I do, I've started to do some print ads and stuff like that. I have an invoice system now, contracts for $200 and up for certain projects. And I'm trying to kind of, localize on Central Connecticut, but I'm willing to grow as well. Management team, me personally, as I probably mentioned, about 7 years industry experience, mechanical background. I do have my home improvement contractor license, and I'm fully insured. The main thing for me is I'm also pursuing education in this. Hope to get a horticulture or arboriculture license next year. It'll make, obviously the operation more professional, and that way, ultimately, when I'm hiring, full-time people, which is the end-time goal, and you're, leading a team, everything you have to do. And then this is kind of the income statement looking forward. The idea is that I get into larger types of landscape jobs, and obviously you're going to have your costs like your labor, your marketing, etc. But I think all in all, I'm going to see a growth over the next few years. I have time. Okay. Yeah. Questions?
Okay. A very personalized service.
Yeah.
There's only one of you, and you differentiate yourself because you have the high touch. It's not like someone says, "I don't want to see you do the lawn. I don't want to hear it." You're more of going to be the touchy sort of person. As you grow, how are you going to maintain that personal connection with the client as you become a bigger company?
Right. So my thought has been ultimately to franchise. And the funny thing is I've looked at franchise models where, for example, Brightview, which used to be Brickman Landscape, you've probably seen their brown tan trucks around. And their approach is these big properties. My primary focus has been residential, and ultimately to try to find other people who are really interested in doing this beyond just labor. I've hired a few buddies here and there, and intend on having people work over the summer. But I'd like to try to find, again, passionate people who are about plants, horticulture, making a nice greenscape, and have those people lead the business. Because I have seen businesses, they snowball, they start to grow very quickly. You have an owner over here, your employees over here, and there's a differentiator. And that's where I come in currently, but in a future model, the plan is, again, that I'm establishing relationships with people. Because customer relationship management, I think, in the service business like this is critical when you have so many competitors. Because otherwise they're going to forget your name.
First things first, what are you doing Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday, it's actually funny. I am set up to do a couple cleanup jobs in the area, but happy to.
Yeah, I think the differentiation. I mean, I live in a town where there's dozens of services you provide, and I think the thing you might want to think about when I'm putting on the marketing is that you might want to deal with landscape architects that want to keep the house that they just invested in,
right,
or that's going to maintain it, because there's always the maintenance. I had a landscape architect come in, and ours is tired, and we have to go back again and look at it. It's not that it's been maintained.
Yeah.
It's just you need someone in between who's laid it out. It's just a thought for you, because being one person operation, you're not going to, there's only so many hours in a day, and there's so much you only can charge. So I would look at, if you want to do high-end stuff and work with the people who do high-end work, you should just explore that.
So our next contestant is Xena Labs.
This is a moment nobody wants happening to them. The difference in color from face to neck is not what these women were expecting when they left their houses. They settled for a foundation that almost hit the mark on their skin tone, but soon they'll be able to purchase the one true foundation that matches all skin tones. Good afternoon, my name is Jaslyn Rodriguez and my company is Xena Labs. My business was created to help those who wear makeup save time and money when purchasing a foundation. Our product is a one-bottle solution that matches all skin tones. We're changing the cosmetics game from those companies that claim to have everyone's shade within their 40 bottle line when we just have one, granting the frustration-free guarantee. The problem with those companies that claim to have everyone's shade within one of their 40 bottles is that first, 3/4 of the product are light to medium, while 1/4 of them are dark. Then there's the customer's frustration. They're spending time trying to find a color. They're too anxious to ask for help, which leads them going home with the wrong color. Then they have to purchase that product multiple times throughout the year because they get darker in the summer and lighter in the winter. So there's no way that they can wear one bottle all year round. Our solution is a one bottle matches all foundation. How this happens is with our shade match technology. So it starts off white, and while blending it into your skin, its encapsulated pigments burst open to adjust to your skin tone, the perfect shade. Our target market are those 25 to 55 with a busy American lifestyle who don't have time to play the guessing game with makeup. Our competitors are Estee Lauder, Black Radiance, and MAC. Myself, Estee, and MAC are considered prestige brands of cosmetics. As you can see, not one competitor has a one bottle solution of foundation. Estee Lauder, although one bottle, is not foundation. They are considered a moisturizer that evens skin tone. My product is a full coverage, one bottle skin tone adjusting foundation. In the age of technology, we're going to have a strong social media presence. Facebook will be used as an information-based platform, Twitter to broadcast updates, Instagram to highlight product usage, and YouTube as video content, as how-to videos, how to spot conceal, everything from tips and tricks that you can use with our products. The management team consists of myself for marketing and entrepreneurial management, as I have 3 years experience in the prestige beauty industry, and I will be graduating with a marketing and entrepreneurial double major. And my product design team consists of Haley Sepelag, which has a graphic design degree, and sorry. My first year projections skyrocket because in the cosmetics industry, once the hot new commodity hit the shelves, they fly off. And that's what my product will be doing. These are my next 3-year projections, and if you're happy to look at them and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer through the question and the answer portion. I'm looking for $100,000 in startup funding, most of which will cover the cost of the chemist because the perfect formula does not come easy. Currently, I'm in the stage of trying to find that perfect formula and hope to start sales by spring 2020. Thank you.
Four white guys evaluating.
I got a question, a couple. You don't have this currently, you said, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. I know I see my wife every day putting her stuff on, but if you have like blemishes and all that, does that cover it up too? Does that?
It does cover it up. So you would blend it into a spot where you don't have the blemish and just transfer it over and cover it on top. It stops blending once it matches your true tone.
Okay.
Is this an idea, or do you actually have a prototype? But the product, is there a product created that you've used yourself?
Yes. So Estee Lauder and Black Radiance and MAC. So I've used Estee Lauder's. They have the one product solution, but it is a moisturizer, so it barely covers anything. It does change colors, but...
I mean, your product, you said you need a chemist?
Yes, because I want mine to be an actual foundation.
So you haven't actually created it yet?
No, not yet. I need to start up funding for that.
This is an idea?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
The next competitor is the home of New England Basketball Academy.
Did you know that according to the Washington Post, Hartford, Connecticut is the most dangerous city in all of New England and ranked 58 in the United States? So imagine if your kid gets off the school bus and goes to the park to play basketball, and he has to experience seeing a drug dealer or a shooting or some type of violence right in front of his eyes. Well, in order to avoid that from happening, New England Basketball Academy has a solution. New England Basketball Academy is a facility that will provide the youth in our community with a safe, quality program to help develop key fundamentals, skills needed not only in basketball, but in everyday life.
The New England Basketball Academy will be located in Hartford, Connecticut. As you can see on this picture on the left, that is our building. It's big enough for at least 2 basketball courts and a training room. Also, the population is about 124,000, and the average household income is about 32,000. There's also 16 schools in a 5-mile radius, so that gives a lot of kids benefits to come and see our facility.
And as you can see here, this is our facility, and right across the street from it is the park. I actually grew up in Hartford, and this is where most of the kids go to after school, and this is where usually most of the riots happen. So in order to prevent that from happening, they could just come to our facility, which will be a much safer environment.
What we have to offer at the academy, so we offer an after-school basketball program that will be funded by the schools and by parents. We also have an AAU travel basketball team that parents can enroll their child in, and also there's adult leagues as well.
And we'll also have summer and weekend training camps where kids could go to when they're not in school. We'll also have open run, which is run to play, paid to play. We'll also have personal training with our personal trainer. And we'll also offer recruitment services, so we'll make tapes video tapes of kids on our team to help them get recruited, and during our AU tournaments, coaches can actually come down and recruit the players so that they could get scholarships. And our expected revenue is about $36,000 per month, and minus our monthly expenses of about $8,000, we'll be left with about $28,000 to $29,000 per month.
Our team, so we're all majors of exercise science, and we're also certified as trainers and coaches.
So our Connecticut competitors, these are all of our competitors. Our advantage over our competitors is that we offer a much wider variety of services, and we offer our services at a lower price rate. And we're going to be the only basketball facility in Hartford. So why we are better? We are located in Hartford. So as I stated before, we'll be the only basketball facility in Hartford. And as we stated earlier in the presentation, our mission is to provide kids with a safe location to go to, and by coming to our basketball facility, they'll have the opportunities to stay off the streets. Thank you.
The tournaments they have in Hartford, I guess, do they still have the Doc Hurley tournament and all that? Do they run those at the schools?
Yes, because that's actually during the high school basketball season. So that's ran at schools. It's not actually like an AAU tournament.
Okay. So you mentioned that the parents in the schools are going to support you and pay for this. You've gotten commitments, or you've gotten a warm, fuzzy feeling from them, or is this just a wish and a hope?
Well, currently I actually work for a basketball facility, actually one of our competitors. I actually work for him, and I talked to certain parents, and they thought that it was like a great idea, and they actually paid like a very high price for AAU. So, and our price would be lower, so I feel like we'll have a great clientele.
But the schools, have the schools said that they would be supportive of this?
Oh, we actually haven't talked to the schools in particular, not the schools.
Have you gone to the Boys and Girls Clubs where they have, basketball is just part of what they do too. And the building you're talking about, are you purchasing, renting it?
We looked at it, and then for renting, it was $4.75 per square feet, so it'd be about...
How much was it? Excuse me.
$4.75 per square feet, and so it'd be about $4,000 per month for rent.
So you have the rent there. You're certified through AAU. Is that who you're using as a kind of a brand to attract people? I'm just trying to understand. Don't they have after-school programs and the basketball catch-up all year round in the gyms, in the high schools and the middle schools?
Well, that's just...
Aren't there clubs and stuff that exist already?
Yeah, but unfortunately, the gyms at high schools and they're booked with other sports during the winter time. So people are always looking for gym spaces for AAU and for other high schools, and they're always looking for gym spaces. I mean,
I think it's a great idea. It's just, I just wonder if you're exploring some partnerships is probably what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Where there is a facility that maybe can take your time. So you don't maybe have to have a separate facility. I don't know, but it would seem that way.
Yeah, but the main thing was having it in Hartford, Connecticut, and there's currently no basketball facility in Hartford, Connecticut, besides like the YMCA, but they only have one gym, and that's really for everybody to just come to as their main gym.
And then, and also for other revenue, we have the corporate league and women's league. I mean, Hartford has a huge corporate. I mean, I have a friend that works for, she's an epidemiologist that works in Hartford, another lawyer at XL Group, and they said they would come. So, like, we have the corporate league, early morning, or like a women's league.
How many gyms are you going to have? How many courts are you going to have?
2 courts.
Is that enough?
To start off, and then hopefully in the future we can expand as we get more clientele in the door.
Yeah, 2 courts in a workout area around with exercise equipment.
Does the competition have outdoor courts as well? I know it's a limited season, but
no, actually our competitors, one of them, which is North Stars, they actually don't have a basketball facility, and all the other 4 competitors have indoor basketball. They don't have any outdoor. And that's actually something else that we'll try to do in the future, like get some outdoor courts, because we do have a lot of space outside of the facility.
Thank you. Thank you.
So our next competitor will be TextStream.
Hello, my name is Jordan Meyer. I'm here to introduce my project TextStream. It is no secret that textbooks are extremely expensive, and simply put, there is a market for low-cost educational material. According to a 2014 McKinsey study, the largest opportunity for publishers lies in the creation of dynamic online learning resources. This is because textbooks are surprisingly valueless, and all the information in textbooks are public knowledge. It comes down to what people write into the book. This is why our value proposition is to provide an online source of textbooks, virtual study aids, and assignment management software at a reduced price. Our reduced cost provides us with a main strategic advantage, as we have 2 possible revenue sources, selling directly to students or to universities at either about $20 a month or $10 a month. Most importantly, between these 2 cohorts, they both share one important factor, that they both are forced to purchase textbooks. With about 20 million students in the U.S. currently enrolled in university, and about 15 million students enrolled in high schools, there's definitely a market for textbooks. Each one of these students has at least 1, if not multiple, books in their bag, and these numbers will remain similar year over year. These numbers allow us to come up with this income statement. For the sake of time, you could see these after, but just know that these are, at year 3, we only plan to have about 125 students signed up and still make some revenue, and going on to 10,000 and ending at 31,000. These numbers don't come with do not come without competition, as 5 major publishers have approximately $14 billion in revenue and control 80% of the market. And just as a visualization, that is their numbers compared to the average salary and student loan debt. So, but this allows us to have a competitive advantage, meaning just because we're smaller doesn't mean that we don't have any opportunities. We can undercut the market, and we can react to customer needs quickly, along with providing a more unique product. Our marketing strategy overall is directed towards decision makers rather than mass market, as that is not specific enough. The current management team is me, and we desire to have a more complete management team moving forward.
So you're going to create the textbooks yourself, or your team, your company?
Yes, ideally. Like I said, the information is already out there. History has already happened, and what we know, we already know.
Okay.
But we want to develop our own textbooks and offer them continuously updating rather than new textbooks year over year to significantly reduce prices.
Do you know how the major competitors or the major people that own the market, how they sell their books?
In regards to, what do you mean?
Well, I assume they'll go to university. They have personal relationships with the universities, and I just don't know how they sell their books and why they would. Why would they? They'd like to save money, of course, but have you done a study on that?
In regards to them saving money, the way they make textbooks is through a lot of understudy usage. College students will often write textbooks. You can even look at credits of major textbooks and you'll find names from popular universities. And as far as saving money, I don't think the publishers are interested in saving money. They have increased textbook prices by over 800% since 1978. Universities, I think, are in the same boat. They've been increasing their charges year over year and are not, since we, the consumers, take most of the cost, they're not necessarily interested in saving us money.
Don't you need the professors? I mean, when there's a curriculum, the professors put together what they're going to be teaching, and it's based upon need. I know a lot of kids that copy it, they'll go buy one book and they then end up sharing it. So wouldn't that be your target market? Because
Yes.
you just can't create a textbook without their approval,
Yes,
correct?
definitely, yes.
So,
we would.
so that's your primary target market?
Yeah, we would market to professors and universities. Hopefully, they would adopt our service, and then either the university could pay for our, students in large, taking the cost for them, or the students could pay for it themselves.
Is there a specific area, history, English, that has a big share of the market, science, where you can tackle it? Sounds like a pretty big nut
Yeah,
you're
it
trying
is.
to crack here.
I don't think any one specific section of the market has any more or less weight than on any other. Definitely different companies have different proportions in regards to their section of the markets, but I don't think any information section has any difference.
So it's a streaming service?
Yes.
And you subscribe to that particular class or subject?
Yes.
And it's time constrained, so you...
Yes, it would be about $20 a month for an individual student.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so these publishers are doing something similar right now?
All publishers have some sort of online assignment management software. The big problem with those is they have very poor reviews and no students necessarily like to use them. I'm attempting to offer a better product, and using the as a service model allows us to reduce prices in the short term, but increase the revenue in the long term.
And our last contestant is Youth Academics.
So I had a couple of them printed up of my official ones. And then I also have a series of what my marketing kind of looks like as an example. Thank you, Jeff.
Nothing like feeding us.
All set? Awesome. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Jordan Demkowski, and I'm the owner of Youth Academics. So my business idea and what I currently do is I teach after-school programs, STEM and STEAM-based programs. My current flagship program is Minecraft, where we work as a team building with students to work out the engineering and kind of play the game and have a good time. My most recent addition is Lego Mega Builds, which is where I work with the age groups of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders, where we work collaboratively to create large projects. So my overview, for the keys to my success, I find, is that I answer the age-old question every night that every parent asks, what did you do at school today? So my success comes when I'm the answer to that question. And the more times I'm the answer in that question, the better off I do. So when the parents of the students ask, so what did you do at school today? Oh, I played Minecraft, I built Legos, or I played Kerbal Space Program, which is my 3rd program that I run. So our after-school programs, a little bit about them. This is just a little brief of some of the ones that I currently offer. I have many more in the works, and for the fall, I'm going to roll out a whole nother set of them. And I like to go ahead and switch them up as the semesters change. As the weather outside changes, I have different alternative options. For private events, I essentially repackage what I do for after-school programs and bring it to a customer's home rather than at the school. Private events also include, I've did a couple of events where there's a family that's doing a wine tasting and I'm the babysitter. Or I come in and we play Minecraft together, or we go ahead and we run and do Lego Mega Builds as an activity. So my target demographic is Fairfield County. Listed here on the map is actually the school that I'm in currently, which is Whitby School. I have worked with other schools along with other organizations such as the Greenwich Boat and Yacht Club. I've worked in a couple of the Enfield Public Schools and a few of the others in the region. So my financing going forward, as I add more instructors, currently it's only me. I teach, this year I'm teaching 3 classes. Last year I taught 2 for 3 trimesters. As I add an additional instructor and instructors as I grow, this is relatively what I'm thinking as my numbers. If you notice under the budget percentages, there's a percentage category. Those percentages allow me to go ahead and apply that to different schools as I go ahead and bring in more business in different areas. My current numbers as of last year, just doing 2 classes for 3 10-week semesters, I brought in about $1,100 and took in about $5,000 in profit. As I grow, I expect to add grant writing to my sales department to allow me to branch into public schools. Thank you, guys.
So you said you're going to try to branch into public schools, but currently right now it's all private schools.
Currently it's only private. Fairfield County has 113 private elementary schools out of the 130 private schools that are in Fairfield County. They're the largest county with private schools, and I find that they also pay the highest rate for after-school programs. Public schools, there's a lot of logistical reasons why I try to stay out of them. Usually it's that the administration changes quite frequently, and so there's really no sense of security with that. And also funding. Their funding is always up in the air, which is why year 3 I'd like to offer grant writing to be able to kind of subsidize the funding to create long-term agreements.
What's your capture rate?
So I'm currently capturing, I'm only in 1 school. As far as what I'm offering within my programs, they run full and I run consistent. So figure there, on average, there's about 50 students per after-school program.
That's not what I'm asking. So how many schools have you presented your program to, and only one has contracted with you, correct?
So I've worked with a couple different schools. Because of time constraints as being a senior here at CCSU, I haven't really been able to really branch off into more schools, so I'm only really able to focus at one at a time. As I grow and add more instructors and let them start teaching my soup canned curriculums, that will allow me to branch off into additional schools.
Oh, so you're tied with the STEM and the STEAM-based program. So your way of scaling up is actually hiring people.
Yes.
Kind of either franchising or actually employees. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
But you haven't done any research to see if that would work, or other schools other than you, because if you're going in and selling yourself, again, you're limited. You only can be in one place at a time.
My experience has shown that I've actually, there's quite a bit of a market for this. My background is I come from SAT prep and from the community college. The community college offers a lot of these for middle school, after school programs, and they work with quite a few towns and private schools. And for SAT prep, they've also have a wing where they work with private schools primarily in this area. And there is quite a need for doing some kind of after school activities, and a lot of them subcontract them out now rather than bring them in-house.
Is there any competition? Anyone doing any? thing like this?
So there's really not a high barrier of entry. So really what I'm looking for is I'm looking to create fun interactive programs that compete. So a competitor could be easily just a golf instructor. That could be an after-school program that someone could run. So where I come in is I teach primarily the STEM and STEAM-based programs that are a lot more interactive and allow kids to work together in a more collaborative platform.
So you use the school's resources, their facilities?
I use their facilities. That allows me to keep my costs low, so I don't have to staff a nurse or have to worry about the facility costs. They hire me as a subcontractor.
And then the private events, you go to the location?
So wherever they'd like to have me go, yes. And for there, I do have supplies. I have a stash of laptops. I have all the different types of stuff on carts ready to go. So I show up, I set up the table, set up the scene, and there's pricing based on the amount of time frame.
So what's going to happen now is the judges are going to go confer and figure out, how to allocate our resources here. And I think our Mike Nicastro, our entrepreneur in resident, will escort you guys over to a room where you've got some time and space. So what I thought we would do to be productive with this time and to keep our watching audience engaged is I'd actually like to have a short little interview with each of you who presented. And I'm told that this is the best place for us to do that. The lighting's best and so forth. So if people are here, I'd love to have you come down and I'll speak to you one by one, and we'll have some fun with this, I hope. So, Locavore. Right here. So, you said that you did this as part. The idea came out of a class that you took. So,
Yes.
You want to say something about the class?
Well, the class that I took was the New Venture Challenge, which is an intercollegiate program that brings together students from all over the state, and we are tasked with solving problems in the world today. I sat down at a table, and the problem was food, and we looked at the food system and distilled it down to we need local food and information.
Now, you and Brendan both have experience with local food.
Yes, he won last year's state level, or second place at last year's state level pitch for his beekeeping. He's a beekeeper, and I have 3 years of experience in organic farming and local markets at George Hall Farm in Simsbury, Connecticut.
And earlier this year, you at our elevator pitch competition had some hot sauce that was spectacular.
Yes, more food. I won at the elevator pitch with food. It's a passion of mine.
Yeah. So that's great. Well, I'm glad that you were able to bring this. This is one of the first projects that's come forward out of that class. We've been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and so we're real proud of you and the success you had. So,
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, hot over cold. You guys want to come down?
Hello.
So, this is the first time you guys have done this kind of thing? I know you've both done elevator pitches, right?
Yeah, we both did the elevator pitch contest last semester. We also did the New Venture Challenge. Awesome class for anyone who hasn't taken it. It's really cool, really fun stuff.
Yeah. So, how is this different than just doing an elevator pitch?
Well, time, I would say right off the bat, you have a little extra time. Although I think we all feel like we would like a little more time, but it's more in depth. You really get to kind of think out your idea more thoroughly and present it on a more in-depth level than just the elevator pitch, which is kind of more presentation-based than substance-based.
So, how did it feel having these guys grill you about your idea?
Oh, it was fun. A good time.
Do you feel the same way, Sal?
Yeah. You know, it's like, it kind of like makes you think about it a little more too. You know, like the questions that they ask you. So
that's great. So, are you thinking you'll actually do this?
Yeah, we'd love to. We need some funding, and then we want to get the wheels turning.
so to speak.
Quite literally.
Well, great. Well, I'll come be a customer when we
Awesome.
get this going.
Cool.
Coffee and ice cream works for me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
So, food waste conversion. So, it sounded like you're actually got flies and larvae, and you're kind of having the meat-up stuff for you. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not the most pleasant thing to smell, but because it is food waste. But it's tricky trying to get them to rear. I've had experience beekeeping and stuff, so I've raised colonies before. So in a way, it's just a very big colony and a lot more insects to deal with.
Yeah. So where are you doing that?
Currently in my bedroom with very sealed containers and closed doors. I can't do it outside. It's still a little too cold, so I can't start moving outside. But there's always weather constraints as well.
Well, since you speak about the constraints, if you're doing this in large scale, you're not going to stop in the winter. Waste doesn't stop in the winter. How are you going to deal with that?
So phase 1 is just getting the actual cycle and mating rearing process down. Phase 2 is start moving out. So I actually plan on talking to Dunnings next week after I did this. Sorry if I can put down a shipping container on his land because he has 100 acres at his sand gravel pit and do it there. And then in terms of winter, I was planning on putting it subterranean. That way it's 65 degrees year round, which will also help keep the smell down and the breakdown of material down as well.
So do these flies ever get out?
They occasionally do, yes, but luckily they don't live very, very long. And they don't bite, they don't sting, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just smacking the flies around.
It's just hard to get roommates, I take it.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, great. Thanks. I love the idea. So, Ben, you want to... Oh, no. Wise Guitars. Wise Works. Al Dare. Austin, come down. I apologize.
Ben, you want to come with me, Ben?
Bring that guitar model down
Yeah.
here.
It's just the body. It's nothing impressive.
So I'll strum this while you talk. Is that the...
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think the $1 million question is, will people buy a guitar in pieces? What do you say there are people who are doing that now?
They're not doing it the way that I'm thinking about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that most people are doing this is they're making the neck replaceable.
Yep.
Or they're making the bridge replaceable. Or they're just making the pickups replaceable, kind of that modular aspect. Nobody has an all-in-one solution. The idea behind that all-in-one solution is that when people get sick and tired of the way it sounds, or they end up stop playing because something happens to it, they can get reinvigorated. They can buy another piece. And that way, they come back to us for it. They're not going back to Fender, they're not going back to Gibson, buying the same model, just with a couple extra years newer, It creates that kind of connection with this instrument, where it's not just a tool, it's a piece of you, and it changes as we change.
So if I have some of your modules, I could plug stuff in, and I could sound like Carlos Santana, and then plug something else in, and I could sound like Eric Clapton.
Exactly, the way that we're probably going to do it.
I've always wanted to sound like Eric Clapton, but
very few people do sound like Eric Clapton. But we're going to have it planned where there's set configurations, single pickup, double pickup, triple pickup. We're going to have a Bootsy Collins model with the 8 pickups on it. The sky's the limit with something like this.
Now, do you play?
Yeah, I play bass.
You play bass?
Yeah, I tried playing guitar once, didn't go too well.
Yeah. So, but you say you'll have bass versions of this?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually going to start focusing primarily on the bass. I find that people that play bass actually tend to buy more often than people that buy guitar. Simply because, when you get sick of the 4-string model, you tend to go up a string, or if you can't play a 5, you go down a model. So there's a lot more deciding factors.
Yeah. That's great. It's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I hope you get there with it.
Yeah. No, it'll happen.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. So now I'll have Ben come down and talk about his landscaping business. So Ben, I've seen you pitch this, and I've seen you pitch some other things. Where are you with your thinking about this? Is this your future to do this as your career, or are you really going to build it out?
Yeah, well, I definitely have, different ideas in mind, but I think, currently kind of where I am, the plan is to pursue it this summer, kind of see what comes. I kind of know before we had discussed, you know, a good part-time venture for sure. And I think it's something I'd like other people to be able to enjoy as well. You know, if someone has, for example, you know, a 9-to-5 job and, you know, during the summer months, you know, they want to make some extra revenue, you know.
Well, summer months, it kind of reminds me of the college hunks moving junk, or you know, the college painters and all that. I mean, you've got, you know, a talent pool out here. Is that a possible model to follow?
I think definitely. I've actually looked a lot into well, both college hunks hauling junk as well as well, Got Junk, 1-800 Got Junk, which I know was based, I think, originally out of Vancouver. And I had done an assignment actually, or I had done a long type of research analysis of that particular company, learning about, you know, Brian Scudamore and what he did, you know, leading up till now. He's the CEO, and it's very successful. And I know there's a point too where I think he fired all of his employees, and he had like 4 trucks, and he was working by himself, and he was at like a gas station wondering like, what am I doing? And he realized, you know, he wanted to find passionate people, and I think he has, and you know, he has a young workforce. I think it's worked out. But I've definitely thought about that, because I know he kind of has like that 1 truck model and you know, a couple guys in a truck, and it just seems to be simple enough where you know, you can expand it. And
Well, you know, we have a number of alumni who have built out businesses like this successfully. I know if you want to do it, I'm sure you'll be successful with it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So who's next? Hey, come on down, Jaslyn. You knew you were next. So I think, Jaslyn, the idea of you know, color matching, one thing does it. I feel kind of bad that we didn't have any women on the panel this evening.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
Did you feel like the deck was stacked against you a little bit there?
Well, they had wives, so I guess they understood.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the fundamental questions that I've always had, I've heard this pitch before, a 1-minute version, is that these color crystals, how do they respond to and change color?
They are heat activated.
Heat activated.
So you have to blend it in with your fingers. Hopefully I can transform it into more of a sponge or a brush, because that's what typically people put it on with.
Mhm.
But right now they're heat activated.
So, and the heat changes the color?
Yeah.
So my skin is going to be a different temperature than your skin because of the pigmentation?
So I've actually had a couple of my classmates try the Estee Lauder one, the one that's just the moisturizer, and it changed color on them, I think. Jordan.
It did.
Yeah. Really good. And then they wiped it off and they compared all their colors, and they're like, wow.
Had different colors, and we tried different people with different skin
Mhm.
tones, and it was pretty cool.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah.
Now, did everybody look good when they did that?
Well, they put it on the back of their hands for a little
okay.
sample.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spend $60 on the moisturizer.
Yeah, okay. Well, so we know that then there is some science that works with
Mhm.
this.
A lot of science.
So that's probably something you could emphasize a little bit more next
Yeah.
time you pitch this.
Yeah.
But I love the idea. I mean, it sounds like fun, and you know, I have 3 daughters, and none of them are real makeup queens, but they like. I don't know if they like it. They get amused if I try some of their stuff. So you know, I would get a kick out of trying this.
Well, foundation is the base to every makeup, so everyone typically uses it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jess.
Cool. Thank you.
So my New England Basketball Academy, you guys come on down. So as they're coming down, I want to say this is the first time we've had a team from our exercise science department participate. I'm so excited that they joined us, and they did such a great job of preparing. Their professor, Cassandra York, shot me an email a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, can my guys play? And I was like, yeah. I'm so delighted. So what was this like for you? Why don't you come up where we can hear you? Was this, you know, well, let me ask first. Have you guys watched Shark Tank before?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of knew this format, right? So how did it feel to be in the tank?
A lot of pressure.
Yeah?
Definitely a lot of pressure.
But it was also a great learning experience, something new for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, a couple of you play basketball. Are you playing basketball here? Or are you playing basketball in high school? Or
No,
someplace?
we all have a background of basketball. And
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I
Yeah.
played basketball in high school all 4 years. I actually went to school in Hartford.
So how's this pressure different than, you know, game-winning shot?
I feel like I just when it's on the line, when the game's on the line, I'm just in the zone, just focus on the hoop and the ball and trying to get the win.
So you got there focusing on the hoop and the ball, probably starting out at a very young age, shooting the ball at the hoop, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't start at a young age doing this, right?
No.
So this feels a different kind of pressure because it's not repeated?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what the answer is. Same thing as basketball, right? Practice, 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 right? Do it more, do it more.
Yeah.
You're in the game now. So, oh. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you want to be able to pitch like that. You know? So I know from a research perspective from a student I had a number of years ago who had a very similar idea. He was an AAU coach, and so I'm not sure you convinced the judges that there isn't a space there. How do you think you might have convinced them that there really isn't the kind of space that you have? Is there something that you maybe now that you've sat down and you weren't up here nervous that you could say, oh, if I told them this other thing?
Well, I feel that we did talk about other revenues, you know, like our corporate leagues and everything. So there's always a space, but whether we got it to them, conveyed it or not, then.
Yeah, well, maybe they did. I sometimes feel like I have an advantage because I see a lot of pitches and I know a lot of the stories that people tell, and I know there's a crying need for what you're trying to do. I've heard in lots of variations of this, whether it's after school basketball, after school music, after school other things, that we need places for our kids, and that you could do sports leagues is great. So anything else you want to say about this experience?
Thank you for the great experience.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
having us
I'm so glad you
participate.
came. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. And I hope you'll tell other students in exercise science and other parts of the university what fun this was. Come do it. It was fun, right? So TextStream.
How are you, Professor?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well.
So how'd that feel for you?
Honestly, I had my notes here, and I can't read my own handwriting, so I had to give up halfway through and just go with the flow.
Well, sometimes that's the best thing. I know that feeling. I can't read my handwriting either, and students will attest they can't read it either. So in your research, you didn't really talk about it, and I guess these guys don't know so much about textbooks, but how do you fit in with this new one, all you can eat for one price buffet thing that some of the textbooks are providing? $120 and you can read as many textbooks as you want for the semester.
Monthly price is our best, option, and recurring use of similar textbooks year over year. Instead of coming out with a new version every other year and charging $120, we can charge $20 per month, which comes out to about $80 a semester, and repeat it. Putting no additional resources into creating new textbooks, rather updating them simply. No production costs of shipping new textbooks, just online updates, and the initial cost remains the same, but since we don't have new textbooks, we can just keep gaining additional revenue.
So I'm a professor, and I've been using open source textbooks lately. So how do you get me to use your text instead of one that I can give for free?
It's not just the textbooks. Our service would offer an online assignment management. I know Central specifically uses Blackboard, but a lot of students don't like Blackboard. So we would try to offer a comparable service along with the textbooks.
We might want to think about plugins that I could put into Blackboard, because I'm not going to reinvent that wheel. But it's I think the very first business plan competition we had, there was a pitch about solving the textbook problem, and almost every year some students coming here because it's a real problem. So maybe one of these days one of you will get traction and we'll have a solution. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Jordan, you want to tell us about youth academics?
Absolutely.
Actually, I don't want you to tell me about youth academics. I want you to tell me about the experience of doing this. You pitched a couple of times in our elevator pitch competitions, first time in the business plan competition. How's that any different?
So what I find that the difference between the elevator pitch competitions and the elevator pitch competitions, you just have to have the idea and be able to speak to it. With the business plan, I mean, it took months. I've been working on this really since December because I knew that this semester was going to be my last semester here, and I really wanted to participate in this business plan competition and kind of just put together all the different entrepreneurship classes that I've taken and create a product. And I think I created a really great product. And so it was a lot more labor intensive, and it really made me sit down and really focus on, how do I want to grow? Well, what's the actual plan going to be? And really start answering a lot of the tough questions that maybe while I was going, I was kind of avoiding, or just, I'll worry about that down the line. For this, I had to face them, and I had to, buckle down and really,
Sure.
put together a presentation for it.
So have you been talking with other people who do similar kinds of after-school work?
Yeah, so I have. There's a couple other, I guess, competitors, but I find them to be very friendly competitors, and I've really looked to them as for resources and to look to them for what their experience has been in the market. One of them is the name of the company, I believe, is Little Picasso's. They do painting, and they do more of the art type of aspect of it. And I was able to really work through and figure out how they go about their hiring process, training, where they recruit from, and really how they get into the schools. And so that, yes, I have been able to kind of work with my competition a little bit to kind of get a little more of an insight on how the industry works.
Now, do you think that you have a career in this?
I'd like to think so. So graduating this year, I work for the state of Connecticut, and with them, their contracts are seasonal. My seasonal contract ends May 23rd, so I have that deadline fast approaching. So I think after I graduate and after that deadline reaches, I might take this on full time, start offering summer camps, really start pushing more of the private parties and private events, and really broaden my horizon on different schools. And I would love to get to public schools a lot sooner. I've been taking a lot of grant writing classes and learning about the grant writing process. And that's really my goal. Is I really do want to get into the public schools. I do think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think there's a lot of opportunity with the grant writing process.
Sure. Well, I know that people can do this. I have a brother-in-law who makes a living in after-school programs and camp stuff. I think we talked about that a little bit. So I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you. And thank you for putting this together. This is an awesome experience.
So I don't know how long the judges will take. This is, either we can do another round of talking, or I could just say a few words. And I want to say a few words first. I so much appreciate the work that all of you students have done, and I appreciate the work that the faculty did to support this. I always say at the elevator pitch competitions that the hardest thing is just stand up here and make the presentation. And that you've prepared, I'm sure it's easier. It was clear when all of you got up here that you'd done your homework, you knew what you were going to do. Mostly you had the timing down within seconds of what we wanted to have done, the goal we set for you. That's not an easy thing. I was watching a video the other day of a master presenter, and he said, sometimes I do keynote addresses or addresses at conferences, and they give me 2 hours. I don't have to prepare for that at all. But if they want me to do a 10-minute speech, I have to prepare for like 3 weeks in advance. That crunching it down so that you get every word to count is really a great skill to have, and I so much appreciate that you did that. So kudos to all of you for participating in this and doing such a great job. Second thing I wanted to say is that I want to acknowledge our sponsor, Stanley Black & Decker, as you know, is a truly innovative company. They do a lot of new product development. We've had great success with students going over there and working at Stanley and doing a great job. One of our first business plan competitions, the first two, a young man competed in both of them. He never won anything, but he went over to Stanley with one of his ideas and entered their internal competition and won their internal competition, got a promotion, and got to develop his product with Stanley's money. It was pretty cool, and he's leveraged that. He's gone on to a couple other jobs and is very senior guy doing environmental energy efficiency design work. It's really fun stuff. Our relationship with Stanley is managed through Rick Mullins, and I want to acknowledge Rick over here. Rick is the director of the Institute for Technology and Business Development in downtown New Britain. He's been a stalwart supporter of everything entrepreneurial here on campus. He's been a truly wonderful partner, and we wouldn't be doing this if Rick hadn't started the very first year saying, hey, Drew, I found some sponsors. You want to run a business plan competition? And I said, oh, yeah. You asked the right person, and thank you for doing that all these years, Rick. I truly appreciate it. Okay, well, I guess somebody else can come talk for the camera.
Dory, you want to do some acapella?
No, I'm all set.
You sure?
Did you bring your bass?
So I think they're getting close. They just wanted to know quite how they could divide up some money. So somebody's going to get some money, right? I didn't ask any of you, but how many of you came just because of the money? Did anybody come just for the money? Nobody's raising their hand on that. So that's, yeah, okay, Sal, all right. Well, you know, I'm always happy when we can put money in students' hands. It's a wonderful thing to do that. We know that college, even at the most affordable college in Connecticut, and hands down the best value here at Central, it still costs money and still is expensive for students to get here. Some of you probably have debt, so I know every dollar counts, and we're real happy that this is an opportunity to help support you with that. And for those of you who are moving your products and businesses forward, if it helps you another step forward with that, then that's all the better. It's really such for me, I feel like it's a privilege that I get to give, or be the front man for giving you some money, and I like doing that. I also want to talk a minute about our programs, since we have the time here. We do have a concentration in entrepreneurship. So if somebody's watching, a student who's not yet decided, or a parent who's thinking about whether their kid wants to come here or not, we have a concentration in entrepreneurship. Many of the students that you saw present here are concentrating in entrepreneurship, and we have a number of extracurricular programs, and we're always looking to help people be successful. And the judges are coming back, so. Yeah. You want me to announce, or you gotta do it?
You want me to do it?
Supposed to do a crowd vote. You know what? We'll do that. Let's do it with a. Let's do it with a sound meter. Can we do that? Can we make noise?
Okay, here we go.
All right. Sorry. Here's the sound meter. Locavore. Okay. How about hot over cold? Maybe a little. How about food waste conversion? I think you guys like everybody. I don't know, this is going to be hard. How about WiseWorks guitars? Yeah! Austin has a big voice. All right. How about Pick Up Sticks specialty landscaping? I think my ears are old. I'm not sure they're detecting a difference. We'll see here. Xena Labs. Home of New England Basketball Academy. Oh, I think they got a little low on that. Yeah, okay. And how about TextStream? And Youth Academics? All right. I think the loudest came from the basketball leagues. So they're going to get the crowd applause. It pays to bring your friends, okay? So I'm going to start with just the Best Presentation Award. And the judges picked Locavore for the best presentation. So I think when we're done, we'll come down and take some pictures with everybody. But congratulations. Okay, I want to be sure I've got the right here. So the number one, the top prize for the scalable venture was a youth academics. Jordan. And the second place for the scalable prize was, again, Locavore. So how much money did you need to finish the development? You need...
No, we have completed all of our development costs. We are just working on marketing and...
So you said you needed like 6,000 or something? All right, so we made a little dent in that for you here. Okay. For the... so for the Main Street business... Yeah, sorry. Wow, you guys could be professors. Your handwriting, or doctors, or whatever the joke is. Which one here? This one? Okay. So the first place Main Street thing is going to Wise Guitars. And the second place Main Street goes to Pickup Sticks. And Judge's Choice, I think they like the idea, was for our food waste conversion, right? Food waste conversion. Now, we said we were giving scholarships to returning students, and so what we've done is we're going to give 3 of those, and they're going to go to the New England Basketball Academy scholars. They're all coming. They're juniors, right? And you're coming back, so you're each going to get $500 for your towards your scholarships next year. So, and then a special mention: Main Street, $500 award for Hot Over Cold. So congratulations. So I want to thank the judges again. Do you have any last comments you'd like to make, feedback for the students in general, things you'd like to say?
You did a great job, and I wish I was that smart when I was in college.
Yeah, really great ideas and presentations.
It's unfortunate that there's only 3 minutes to make the presentation. I know you had to put a lot into it, but it's the way the world works. So I appreciate all the effort you put in and the passion, and I think there's going to be a little success coming from these ventures.
All I know, I'm glad I knew you now, because someday I think you're all going to make it really well. Everyone did really, really, really well. Great ideas.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Let's thank the judges for the service with us. So that's the official stuff. I think we'd like to get pictures with all the people who won, and maybe with the judges. We'll take a couple of pictures. So if the people who won prizes can come down to the center, and we'll line up maybe with our backs to the logo here, and we'll take some pictures.